Have you ever found yourself saying yes when you wanted to say no? Agreeing to things that drained you, or constantly trying to keep everyone happy even at the cost of your own peace? On the surface, people-pleasing can look like kindness, generosity, or being easy to get along with. But beneath it, there is often something much deeper. Something that didn't start as a choice, but as a way to survive emotionally. People-pleasing is not just a personality trait, it's a pattern. In many cases, it's rooted in hidden trauma experiences from childhood. It's not about being naturally selfless. It's about learning that your needs were less important than keeping others comfortable. This pattern often begins in early childhood. If you grew up where love felt conditional, you may have learned to adapt. You learned to read the room, notice people's moods, and adjust yourself. You shaped your behavior around what made others happy. Sometimes this comes from a household where emotions were intense or unpredictable. You learned that keeping the peace was the safest option. So you became the one who avoided problems, stayed agreeable, and tried to make everything okay. This role became part of your identity. In other situations, people-pleasing develops when emotional needs are not met. You tried to earn attention by being helpful or accommodating. You learned that being easy or good increased your chances of being accepted, and that belief stayed with you. As a child, these behaviors make sense. They help you adapt and feel safe. But as an adult, the same patterns can become limiting, because now, instead of choosing when to give and when to step back, you feel compelled to please others even when it hurts you. One of the most common signs of people-pleasing is difficulty saying no. Even when you are overwhelmed, you still agree to things. The idea of disappointing someone feels worse than the discomfort of overextending yourself. Saying no may trigger guilt, anxiety, or fear of rejection. Another sign is constantly seeking approval. You may look for validation in the way people respond to you. When you receive positive feedback, you feel relief. But when you don't, you may feel anxious or question your worth. People-pleasing also shows up as over-apologizing. You might say sorry for things that aren't your fault, just to avoid conflict or keep the peace. Another deeper layer is the fear of conflict. For many people-pleasers, conflict doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it feels threatening. It may remind you of past experiences where disagreement led to emotional pain, rejection, or instability. So instead of expressing your true feelings, you stay quiet. You might also notice that you struggle to express your own needs. You may not even be fully aware of what you want, because you've spent so much time focusing on others. And when you do recognize your needs, expressing them can feel difficult. Over time, this pattern leads to emotional exhaustion. You give and give, but rarely receive the same level of care in return. You may feel unappreciated, invisible, or even resentful. And yet, you continue the pattern because breaking it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. There is also a hidden emotional cost. When you constantly adjust yourself to fit others' expectations, you slowly lose touch with your authentic self. You become who others need you to be rather than who you truly are. And this can create a sense of emptiness, even when everything seems fine. But here's the most important truth. People-pleasing is not your fault. It is a learned response, shaped by experiences. It was your mind's way of protecting you, of helping you navigate situations where being accepted felt uncertain. The problem is, what once protected you is now limiting you. It keeps you from setting boundaries and expressing yourself. Healing this pattern begins with awareness. You have to start noticing when you are saying yes out of obligation. The next step is learning to tolerate discomfort. Saying no, expressing your needs, or setting boundaries will feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel guilty, anxious, or worried about how others will react. But this discomfort is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something different. Boundaries are essential in this process. They help you protect your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being. They allow you to give from a place of choice rather than obligation, and they teach others how to treat you. It's also important to reconnect with yourself. Start asking yourself what you want, what you need, and what feels right for you. This may take time, especially if you're used to focusing on others. But slowly, you begin to rebuild a connection with your own voice. Another key part of healing is self-worth. The more you believe that your needs matter, the easier it becomes to express them. You begin to understand that you don't have to earn love by overgiving. You are worthy of respect, care, and balance just as you are. You also need to understand that not everyone will respond positively to your change. Some people may be used to you always saying yes. When you start setting boundaries, it may feel unfamiliar to them. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. It means the dynamic is changing. Healthy relationships will adjust. They will respect your boundaries and value your honesty. Unhealthy ones may resist because they benefited from your lack of boundaries. And this difference helps you see which connections are truly supportive. The goal is not to stop being kind or caring. Those are strengths. The goal is to create balance, to give without losing yourself, to care without overextending, and to connect without sacrificing your own needs. At the end of the day, you deserve relationships where you don't have to constantly prove your worth. You deserve to be accepted for who you are, not just for what you do for others. And the moment you begin to understand the hidden trauma behind people-pleasing is the moment you start to free yourself from it. You move from survival to choice, from fear to confidence, and from losing yourself in others to finally coming back to yourself.